Greetings, land of the brave and beyond, and welcome to today's information sharing session on this warm Friday morning, the 3rd of November 2023, coming to you live and direct from the Government Information Center studios in the heart of the capital city, Windhoek. I am your host, Hileni Felepa-Samunyela, and alongside my two studio guests, we will be keeping you company between now and 11 o'clock. Now, on the menu this morning, we are discussing the Rehoboth Town Council's Land Management and Housing Development Conference, which is earmarked to take place from the 9th to the 10th of November 2023. Now, I am joined in the studio by a team of well-versed and vibrant representatives from the Rehoboth Town Council, and they are going to expound and shed more light on this very well-anticipated conference that is happening in a very short period of time. I am joined on my immediate left by Honorable Jackie Jackson Karisip. He is Councillor responsible for land management and housing development. Good morning, Honorable Councillor, and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. I am also joined by Ms. Desire Peters. She is Public Relations Officer at the Rehoboth Town Council. Good morning, Ms. Peters.
Good morning.
And welcome to the GIC.
Thank you.
All right. And now, Namibia, as earlier alluded to, we are discussing the Rehoboth Town Council's Land Management and Housing Development Conference, which is earmarked to take place from the 9th to the 10th of November 2023. And I would like you, Namibia, if this is an area of interest to you, to take part in this conversation. You can follow our discussion on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or otherwise you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Alternatively, at 1:30, you can dial in directly in the studio and you can add your voice to the conversation. Without wasting any more time, I would like to dive into it. Honorable Councillor, I understand that the Rehoboth Town Council has embarked on a land management and housing development program. Can you please talk to us about this very important program or initiative?
Yes, we as the Rehoboth Town Council has understand our mandate very well. We have understood that we are part of the government. We are government on grassroots level. And the realization of that one put me as a portfolio councillor in the forefront to run programs to complement that effort that the government is doing in providing decent housing to our citizens. So therefore, it was an initiative that came from that platform where, as a portfolio councillor, we realized that we need to engage and find ways, because there's a big backlog on delivery of decent housing and land to our community in Rehoboth. And we realized that people would come and apply, but progress will be very slow. Also, what we'll need, what the challenge in delivering this land was, or the urban was, that we as the town council could not be able to provide bulk services, and therefore we would deny the residents to have access to land. Therefore, we decided we would not wait for the government. We will engage stakeholders and partners, developers and investors, and avail ourselves and create a platform where we as the council, which is the landowners and the investors and the developers that we are inviting, and the people that will, the residents will eventually own this land, would come together and engage and come up with a blueprint in which we will be able to assist our government in providing housing, decent housing to our community.
All right, well said. Now, Ms. Peters, did the demand for land and housing in Rehoboth perhaps prompt this conference, one would ask?
Yes, indeed. Not only the demand for land, but we, as the Honourable Councillor has quite rightly mentioned, that it is our mandate to provide affordable housing and make land accessible to our people, because it is a basic human right, along with the services that comes with it. And as the Town Council, we have realized that, especially with the impact of COVID-19, a lot of our residents has lost income. Our income levels has decreased, and our revenue collection has also been greatly impacted. And we needed to be we needed to take an initiative to, as it was mentioned, assist government. And as we are the growth points, and as it was mentioned by the Honourable Councillor, when we on the grassroots level do not provide these services to the electorate, then government is to be blamed. So we did not want it to wait any longer and decided to take the hand of government and make these basic services to our community accessible. And for that, we obviously had to plan and strategize. So there is a great mushrooming of people to the informal settlements because in most instances, the low income and ultra low income people are being left out because of only the corporate Rehoboth or the us who are able to be funded by banks or can afford to buy Erwin are being accommodated because also of the high cost of servicing of land as well as purchasing of land. So this is why Rehoboth Town Council has taken up this initiative to meet our community halfway as well as to find a solution not only for our town, but maybe we could be this could be the opening of a better platform because housing, access to affordable housing and services is also part of our Millennium Development Goals. And this is just one of our initiatives to embark on this road.
All right. Now, Honourable Councillor, in your opinion, how will this initiative lead to more targeted strategies, which in the end will address the challenges that the Town Council is facing in the areas of land management and housing development?
You know, Eleni, the problem of housing and delivery thereof is it's not that we don't have land. We do have the land. But to make it decent is the problem. So we are, as a council, we are looking at, deliberately looking at ways how we can make housing accessible to our communities. So what we are trying to do with this conference is that we would invite investors and developers and offer the land on a very low price, which will later help our residents to be for the land and the housing to be affordable. Because if it's in terms of saying, we would say we'd subsidize the cost that goes into the land to develop and make it accessible and decent, we will exclude with the price, so that by subsidizing and selling this land to the developers and investors at a very low price, so that they cannot eventually, after building houses, they could not charge our residents a large amount of money for the housing, because a large amount of these things goes into the servicing of the land, and we want to subsidize our residents in giving the land at a very low price. So I think the outcome that we are seeking for is to make it accessible eventually to the residents that would benefit from decent housing.
Namibia, as earlier alluded, if this is an area of interest to you, join the conversation, add your voice to this very crucial conversation. I think everybody, if not everyone, needs land to live on. I'm urging the public, our listeners and viewers, to join us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can also stream us live on our YouTube channel, and we are at MICT Namibia. Alternatively, you can call us in the studio, and the studio number is 061, the area code is 061 400 397. The calling number is 061 400 397. Ask your questions and get your responses from the horse's mouth. All right, as we proceed, now, Honourable Councillor, looking at the challenges the Town Council is experiencing or encountering at the moment, and government also included, because, you know, talk to us about the impactful investment opportunities which are deemed relevant to ensure that the access of affordable housing and land for the people of Rehoboth is made a realization?
The government should be complimented in terms of their efforts that they put into local authorities to assist for delivering of decent housing. We have also made, through the government, strategical partnerships with the likes of GIZ, the likes of government in itself did have a Build Together program that was doing very well and make land affordable and decent housing affordable to residents at a very, very low prices. So I think we need to revive the Build Together program at all local authorities, because that was a program that was successful in delivering our mandate as government, and also not only national government but local authorities and local government on grassroots to deliver decent housing to our residents. So I think in terms of funding, money will never be enough, but efforts that goes beyond just receiving money and putting it into good use, efforts such as this land conference, where we are deliberately targeting the private sector to assist and help us in delivering this land will go a long way. So there would be challenges. We are faced with challenges of because of the backlog on housing. People, our residents, grab land, but equally so, there are also people that bought land from Rehoboth Town Council, for instance, but land bank that land. Land is only profitable or alive when it is used. But if you buy land and you bank it, then we don't, as the council, receive rates and taxes. So it doesn't really help us. So we are looking at that efforts that the government is making, as well as, and we are complementing as a council in order to provide. The other challenge that we are facing is the spread of informal settlements. Now, with strategic partners such as GIZ, we are now looking at formalizing these informal settlements. Once people are settled, regardless of whether they are legal or land grabbers, the mandate of any local authority is to provide basic services. So in that, we have also forged partnerships, as I've said, with those GIZs and all the other institutions, partners, then in formalizing these informal settlements and providing the basic services to our residents.
Maybe if I'm allowed to add on, the town council has been quite active in this land management project, and we have been traveling around. We have been also up to the north. We visited the Rundu Town Council. We've been in Kurenkuru and all these areas, and we've been researching. And we've also done some researching to other countries, where I've, for instance, studied the case of Botswana, how they are managing their land initiative. So there are a couple of strategies that we want to embark upon, but obviously one can't just start something. So that is the reason why we have decided on the conference, so that we can have industry leaders. The Town Council has also a relationship with the NAST, former Polytechnic of Namibia. So we have internship students that come to Town Council for internships into town planning and property management in these areas. So we have also invited academics, lecturers from the NAST who will come also be part of the discussions. And then we have the Development Bank of Namibia, as well as all the other banking industries and leading developers in the country who can, and town planners, of course, who can, we want a sit down where we present what we have on offer. The project, the land verification process that we have had recently gave us a clear indication of where we are at in terms of land delivery, what is our economics of scale, the affordability levels of our community, how we can segment this. So this is what we want to present, and to meet the other, the funders halfway, so that we can together find an amicable solution for the people of Rehoboth.
Your response to this question actually brought me to the next question I would like to pose to you, Desire. Apart from GIZ, who are some of your partners that you've actually collaborated with to make this land conference a realization?
I wouldn't say collaborated with. This is actually an initiative of the town council itself, but we have had sponsorships from our engineering partners, the consulting engineers. We have Dunamis engineers, we have Helios, and then we have GIZ, and then we also have the development workshop. We have NAC, is it the Shack Dwellers Federation?
Yes.
Then we have NAST and University of Namibia, and various stakeholders. We have Windplan, DEGA Consulting Engineers, we have Harmonic Town Planners, Rida Kiba Town Planners, various stakeholders that are in the industry that will come together and give us the way forward. So we are actually excited because we're going to have people that speaks the same language in one room. And we will definitely work away with a lesson learned. And we will be creating networking platforms, not only for the town council, but for everybody that is invited there. We have also developers, local developers from Rehoboth, and we have contractors. We have also a group, Samstan group, as well as the Build Together, people that were comedy, I think. So we basically have various stakeholders in the industry, and we will make it the conference also accessible to our community and other towns via our social media networks. And if possible, MICT and NBC will assist us in streaming it live for all the other audiences that do not have access to social media, so that we can have, as we are here today, we want people to engage from all walks of life, to engage with us so that we can also not exclude them. But obviously we can't have the town of Rehoboth in one room with the strategic partners. So the conference is only targeted to have strategic partners who are invited to come attend the conference, but the community will be engaged through the media platforms that is available.
Okay. Maybe before I leave you alone, Ms. Peters, I would like to know, who have you extended the invitation to? Who should form part of this conference?
I've just mentioned a few names, but it's a long list.
It's a long list.
It's a long list. We have about 100 confirmations by now. Mm-hmm. So it's quite a long list. I've mentioned some of the companies right now, but we've got Safland.
It's targeted.
Yeah, targeted stakeholders.
Okay.
Safland, we have Oryx, Onyx or something, developers.
A lot of developers and investors and possible industry players in the housing and land development and area. That's who we invited, because we want to look at. There will also be presentations. The presentations will entail where for instance, First Capital will present what they offer in terms of housing to clients. We will also, NHE will offer, present what they offer for clients, how to access their services in terms of getting a house. So those are the other things that they will, the many other industry players are invited. So those are the industry players that will be there. What we're trying to, another thing that I would want to add is that as politically elected councillors, we leave this type of events to the technocrats. I think as long as we don't interfere, we can intervene. And this is one of the programs that I, as a portfolio councillor, took over and said, work together with the technocrats, and then said, let us work together and let us look at. I will rely on your know-how because you are the experts in the area of local governance. But I can also contribute as a leader that was elected leader. So I think we as a local authority councillors should not just sit and wait on technocrats. We must complement their efforts, and this is but one of the ways. And I think Rehoboth Town Council is the first that would come up with something that has such a huge impact and that will have direct reflection on serving the people that in its local authority area.
All right. Perhaps I'd still want to know, for a Rehoboth that is actually glued on their TV set now, and they would want to, they were actually waiting to get that clarity here. Are you expecting the residents in their own rights to attend this conference as well, or is it merely between the Rehoboth Town Council and their partners?
The industry, the process started with the residents.
Okay.
Because we just did not start a conference. We just did not plan a conference. There was a preceding activities, and we went back to our database and we verified the database. We invited the public to come to the town council. Our officials also went out to different locations where they engage with the residents, where the residents would verify whether they applied, and then also provide us with the affordability scale, whether they are low income, middle income, so that now that we have this information, we'd be able to know exactly and sell this data to our investors and developers. Because if we share this data with our investors, the investors will know in Rehoboth we need how many low-cost housing, we need how many middle-income housing. But what we also want to address is that we would also want, through this conference, to address the issue of banks not being able to finance certain groups of people because they are blacklisted, or the affordability is not in accordance with what the bank requires. But that same person is the person that is renting somewhere else and is paying 6,000, 5,000. So I think we want to also look at that segment, and we want also experts to advise us on that segment, so that we use this person that is paying rent and to rather invest in his own property. So we are also looking, that is a targeted intervention that we would like to also address in terms of providing decent, affordable housing to all residents in our vicinity. So that part is very important for us. By the end of the conference, we must have a blueprint that would come out and say, this is how Rehoboth Town Council will address the housing problem. And this will be through the Gannett data and information and presentations from academics, from industry players, and from the local authority itself, and from the ministry, our line ministry also, which plays an integral part in providing this housing. So we have also targeted the ministry's housing division to also attend the conference to provide us with information.
Okay.
Just
you would like to make a contribution?
Yes, please, because I've been inundated with calls from our residents. So maybe this is also the platform for me to clarify this. It's not that we have left out the community of Rehoboth or the residents of Rehoboth. Like it was mentioned, this process started with the residents. We have had different studies, the alienation program, the Build Together program. We did studies in the shack dwellers. So the community was not left out. We just did studies with them, and the results that we have obtained through these studies is what we are presenting to the strategic partners. So we do not exclude the community. We are making it available to the community on the different platforms that we have. But for the conference itself, this is where we have strategic discussions. So the results of these discussions will be made available again through a different platform to the community. So here we are only engaging the academics and the industry leaders, and then we will take this information that we obtain from them and take it back to the community. Right now we can't accommodate the whole of Rehoboth, unfortunately. We have a specific targeted number and specific targeted guests that we have invited. So please, Rehoboth, bear with me. We will have another conference that is aimed at the residents and the community at large.
Right. Okay. If you are in Rehoboth and you are interested, this is your time. Share your questions on our social media platforms. You can join the conversation. You can call us directly in the studio, and the calling number is 061 400 397. The calling number in the studio is 061 400 397. Air your contributions, ask your questions. The experts are in the studio and they are going to address your questions with immediate effect. Now, Ms. Peters, I would like to know, Of course, rolling out such a big initiative of paramount importance cannot just go without hiccups. What are some of the existing challenges already encountered, in accordance to land management, housing development in the Rehoboth town?
It's actually, to me personally, I really take pride in this initiative because this is a conversation that started informal on our way back from Rundu. We were actually exhausted as we were traveling, and then we just had an informal discussion where we said, why don't we do this? And then the two councillors that were with me during that trip actually supported this idea, and we sold it to the other councillors, honorable councillors, and the mayor, and they grabbed this opportunity. So we had so much support from management and the council itself. And when we rolled out, the community cooperated to such a big extent that we were actually wowed with what we gathered. And even after the process closed, the verification process closed, people were streaming to my office because they were excited. And there are so many frustrated community members because some of them are waiting since the younger days, since forever. And some people even got old whilst they were waiting for a piece of land. So we realized that we actually, as much as we are under the impression that we are serving the community, that we are not optimizing on what is available and building on the capacity and also the challenges that we are facing. We are maybe just focusing on the low-hanging fruits and not looking at the bigger picture. So this initiative has opened the door for us as the council and technocrats to see what we are faced with. So now we know, through the studies that we have done, we know that there are some properties that maybe belong to the council, but people lived in it forever. Generations are coming from these properties. So where do we start? We can't put them out. We have huge debts that people were not unable to pay. So we need to find a way, because in my experience in local government, and I've been serving all over Namibia, Rehoboth is a unique case, because Rehoboth is a community who takes so much pride in where they are from. And Rehoboth, one of the things that they do is they take hands and they stand together. So for a community who has so much pride in where they come from, and the people don't move out. Some of us are in Rehoboth from our homes, but Rehoboth people, they take pride in where they are from, so they stay in Rehoboth. Even if they work in Windhoek, the homes are in Rehoboth. So there was one thing that Councillor Karise mentioned, that the children of Rehoboth, when they move out from their parents' homes, they become renters and they stay in flats. And then if they can't afford the flats, they grab land and then stay in shacks. And we can't allow this. And that is when the council actually took the initiative and said, we have to make a difference. So there are some community groups that has also started with taking the initiative and coming to council and taking our hand. So to me, local government and municipalities, town councils are the growth point of government. And where there is civil unrest, it's because people are not happy. And people are not happy because us at local level are failing. And then the political parties and the leadership is being blamed. But it's not the leadership that is on the ground, it's us on the ground. So if we want our government to prosper further and to achieve its goals, then we at local level has to be initiative. And this has been one of the key areas that I think that the Rehoboth Town Council has achieved, taking the lead in taking the hands of government and starting something of this magnitude. We have had challenges with the systems. We don't have the systems. We had a challenge of computers for everybody. Some of the staff members were sitting in the sun when they're collecting the data. We had vehicle problems. Some of us had walked with our feet. There were so many frustrations during the inception process. In fact, to date, we still have a number of backups, but nothing is going to stand in our way. This conference will happen, and we're going to make it a success.
I'm inspired. Now, for a town council or a settlement or growth point elsewhere in Namibia that is inspired and would want to emulate this best practice that Rehoboth Town Council is just, embarked on, who can they get hold of? How do they liaise with you?
This is obviously myself and Councillor Karizeb are the initiators of this project, and I'm the one who's coordinating and running the project on behalf of Council, so they can consult the PR office through the office of the CEO, and obviously Councillor Karizeb as well. And we are willing to serve, because at the end of the day, all of us are doing the same thing. No local authority is different in the services that we are providing. So we serve government, we serve the electorate. So where we can make a difference, we definitely will. Rehoboth Town Council always takes the lead, and we have a very supporting governor. And our governor always supports us in all our initiatives. So I'm sure if one of the villages need our support through the office of the governor, when he taps on the office of the mayor, we will be made available.
Okay. Honorable Karizeb, you would like to add?
Yeah, Rehoboth, some of our residents would be wondering now, this is a new thing. I've been applying for how many years, and I'm still waiting for my piece of land. There's also another program that says the Rukoro program. Now, that is where our residents have been, there was a Rukoro report, and then we are supposed to implement that report. So when it comes to that, we are addressing it. We have started allocating urban in Block H, Extension 1 and 2. We, in this financial year, would be able to provide electricity and other services to that community. We have also looked at, we also talked to the Office of the Prime Minister for alienation of certain houses that in Rehoboth, the Steenhuise, that's what we call them. The Steenhuise, we are busy with the alienation program. We have partnerships with the Office of the Prime Minister through our line ministry and Ministry of Finance, and we had our first discussion meeting some 3-4 months ago in August, and then we are going to deliver that promise to our residents also. So by the end of this period where we are serving as councillors, we would want to finish those programs, the Rukoro report and also the alienation at least. And continuously we are providing urban and pieces of land for our community. And also we have large areas of land which we call townlands. There's also some challenges. It's not about urban land only, it's also about the townlands. We have some challenges, but we are reviving, we are regrouping, and we want to offer the best services to our residents that we can offer.
So if I can maybe just add on to the Honourable Councillor, we have recently allocated 185 plots to the Samstand beneficiaries. That is a group of community members who have started a program almost the same as the Build Together program, but this is run by them through the council. And we have also, currently the development workshop is will be servicing 300 urban. Then we have the Ban-off planning that is also through GIZ, and the Block H, we have allocated so many urban to people, but providing services has been our main challenge because of revenue. Because the revenue that we are using is the revenue that we are collecting from our residents through rates and taxes, basic user charges for water and electricity. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, due to economic challenges and revenue, job scarcities, our people are unable to pay. So, council is unable to re-inject or re-subsidize monies that we are collecting. So, that is also one of the main reasons that we have invited financiers and investors to say, we have this land, we have people who need this land, how can you help us? Because we believe that together we can come up with an amicable solution. Absolutely.
Now, we have questions on our social media platforms, and I would like, okay, so this is Andre Pretorius. Andre says, Honorable Councillor Jackie, how would you ensure that the developers will keep the houses affordable to the community of Rehoboth? It's one thing to avail affordable land to the developers, but will the developers pass that on to the buyers of these houses?
I think that is one of the main questions that we started when we started with. We will be offering land at an affordable price to the developers, but will it transcend into the buyer having an affordable house? Now that's where we are. At the end of the conference, we will sign what we call termed as a memorandum of understanding with certain developers after the discussions, obviously. So we will work in a clause where we really would bind these developers to provide housing at an affordable price. So we are looking at the legal implications thereof, but we will not avail land to developers for a lower price, and the houses that eventually is built will not be affordable to our residents. That we will ensure that we through these contracts that we sign with them, we will include that a clause that says this is our. But it is still in work in progress, yes. And legal department of our Crown Council as well as the technical department is working on it. And towards the end of the conference, we will be able to sign memorandum of understanding. But the actual contracts will be signed after we engage with them.
Okay. We should maybe not exclude the importance of the line ministry. And this is also the reason for the dialogue. We have created the dialogue. So it's not a done deal. Like the Honourable Council has mentioned, there will be terms and conditions. But that's why we are having these strategic partners. So it's not only developers, we have planners, we have different stakeholders that will be in one room. So together we're going to come up with a policy that will guide us. So it's not something that we'll just say, we have cheap land, come by and build houses for people. No. We're going to create a policy and a strategy that we'll work on. So the main aim of the conference is for us to come up with a strategy and to plan and also consult with the line ministry and all the other institutions that will be available for the conference to guide us and say, this is how we can go about.
Absolutely. And we have another question from our Facebook page. Let's see. Leonard Pinar says, how did Rehoboth Town Council go about attracting the investors?
Is it now in, can I or?
Yes, either one of you can take it.
I think we have make it public on our, during our, one of the most, what do you say? We are transparent in our ways of doing things at Town Council. We are the only Town Council that really, all our ordinary council meetings are live streamed. We don't have anything to hide. If we fight as councillors, we are fighting doing that in public space for the benefit of our people, of course. So investors an open invitation was given to investors, any of the investors that would like to come on board, and then also we also target others, because it doesn't help you have only open invitation but you and no one responds to it. Mm-hmm. Then you must also have targeted investors and developers in the area or in the space of housing and land development that we invited.
Obviously, also through research.
Yes.
We have done thorough research, and we have not just handpicked developers or investors. We have done thorough research, and there are prominent institutions that we know. So basically, the people that are invited are through research that has been conducted through my office and also through consultation with other municipalities. So yes, we have not just handpicked any investors.
All right. I believe we have another social media question from our Facebook page. It's from Leonard Pinar again, and he says, local business owners has investors but was not approached. Why not?
As we've said, it was an open invitation, and we are looking at developers and investors. It's a mandate of the local authority, the Rehoboth Town Council, to provide decent housing to its people. We would like to do that yesterday, but because of financial constraints, we are unable. And that is to provide bulk services is very expensive. The ministry is providing, subsidizing, but that is not enough to cover. Therefore, that's why we went out to the public space and we invited them. Of course, if people want to be invited, they have to hand in their profiles, business profiles, to our public relations office, and then they will be scrutinized, and then after being scrutinized, they will be we will respond to them. But we are also saying that because I think the PRO already stated that we cannot invite the whole of Rehoboth. In fact, we want to invite the whole of Namibia, but this is again cost efficiency. So that therefore we are saying if the people, if you feel left out, just bring your business profile to the PRO office. We will scrutinize it, and by now I don't know if we will a space for others, but it was a public invitation, and you had to. Some of the companies were not invited, in fact, but they when they saw it on media platforms, they approached us as a council, and then they provided us with the business profiles, and then we said, look at it as, does it fit into the scope of what we want to achieve at the end of this conference? And then we approached them, and then they RSVP. So that was the basis on which we invited people.
Okay, Ms. Peters, you would like to respond?
Yes, please. I would like to specifically respond to Pastor Lenny Pinar. He has called me. I've also texted him. I responded to his questions already offline. I'm not sure why he's coming online to post his questions. But we, like I mentioned, we have done research. And some people who knows investors, Rehoboth is very small. And we sit with data in our offices. And we also know the companies or the individuals who claim to have investors. And we know that some investors and profiles that we have are on paper and do not deliver. So like I said, we've done research. And we have, because of what we have, we like it is mentioned, we looked at what and who we can work with to find solutions. So this is not, like I said, we have not approached investors in the town. We invited businesses, and the business and the economical sectors, various sectors in the community are represented at the conference, not individuals. So because of there are costs involved, there is space involved, we have a selected strategic partners that was invited. So Rehoboth community must please bear with us. We definitely want to invite everybody, in fact the whole of Namibia, but we can't at the moment. But for the local businesses, there is a plan, and we will come back where we will have the local community under one roof. Because one of the people has asked me, is the input from Rehoboth community not viable? And that is not what we want to create. That is also not what we want to promote. But we can't continue doing business as usual. Then we'll always have the same result. So we need to re-strategize, replan, and for that, we need people from outside who can look from outside into Rehoboth and come up with solutions for us.
No, not that we are saying that the priority, actually the priority is Rehoboth residents. And as I've said earlier, we have started this process with Rehoboth residents, and it is open to Rehoboth residents, but unfortunately, as we said, it's targeted and it's cost efficiency. We have to calculate costs, and if people still needs to want it, I think as a councillor, I would say if it is open, bring your business profile, let us strategize, and let us see if we can accommodate it, because that is what we want to do. Bring your business profile, but I don't know, the RSVP is closing today by 12, so 12 is now. What we are saying is you are priority. The residents of Rehoboth is priority. The business people of Rehoboth is priority. At the end of the day, we want to achieve this to the benefit of Rehoboth. So if there is houses to be built, the people to benefit will be Rehoboth businesses and Rehoboth people.
Rehoboth community. But maybe to just give a bit of assurance, this what we are doing now. The streaming and engaging with people from their homes. This is exactly what we're going to do at the conference. Okay. We will involve the community through the platforms, but not in one room. It's impossible. So we will have this dialogue with our communities, and I'm sure that Pastor Lenny and other key people in Rehoboth will be involved and also give us through these platforms, because there will be people who will monitor these platforms and do the same as we are doing here. So rest assured, no one is left out. But for the RSVPs, it has closed. Unfortunately, we could only accommodate a certain number. So unfortunately, we definitely cannot take on other profiles, but do submit your profiles to our office, and in our next planning phase, then our this is phase 2. Phase 3 will definitely involve the community and then have all residents and developers under one roof.
Okay, we are slowly running out of time. I would like to pose the last question to you both. I'll throw it to the Honourable Minister first. Sorry, Honourable Councillor first. Oh, you are getting a promotion soon.
Oh, yeah.
What are the anticipated outcomes from the conference in terms of long-term planning for sustainable and resilient housing development earmarked for Rehoboth Town Council?
We want to forge partnerships that will last us in the industry, that will be able to provide and do away with the housing backlog. The other one is we want to formalize all our informal settlements so that everyone in the Rehoboth vicinity must be in a decent house with basic services. We want to, at the end of the day, we want to link the person that is working at ShopRite, for instance, with a below or low salary to a business that will build an affordable house to that person, and that person will be able to pay affordable installment and still maintain his lifestyle but have a decent housing. So those are the strategies. The reason why we invited the academics is that they must look at how they can research actually how we can sustain this housing delivery, how we can complement the government in its efforts to provide decent housing to our communities. And we want to be a council that is front runners in presenting. You remember when the Build Together program was incepted, the Rehoboth Town Council was a shining example of that, and we want to revive that program so that any and every partnership that we can forge that would provide decent housing, such as the sector, as the Build Together programs, the groups that are organizing themselves and paying development workshop, those partners, we want to get them, we want to link our resident that want a decent housing to a partner that will assist us, we will avail the land, they will assist us in providing services, basic services that we can't provide due to finances.
All right. Now, Namibia, that is all the time we had for today's information sharing session, where we were discussing the Rehoboth Town Council's Land Management and Housing Development Conference, which is earmarked to take place from the 9th to the 10th of November 2023. Please be sure to follow us on our social media platforms and be part of our family at the Government Information Center. From all of us here at the GIC, it is goodbye.